Welcome to my 1cc tutorial for Altered Beast for the Sega Genesis. And here I'm going to explain how I was able to beat the hardest mode, which is accessed only through the options menu, on 1 credit with the default lives. Though I do have the health set up to 5 pieces, but it'll be pretty much, these techniques are pretty much going to be applicable, especially to normal. If you're doing a 1cc, it'll be more than adequate. So one thing I recommend is, whenever hitting normal enemies for the most part, I recommend jumping in the air and rapidly kicking and coming down with your rapid kicks to take out enemies. That way they don't have a chance to punch you. Because otherwise, if you try to exchange shots with them and just kick them while standing on the ground, a lot of times you will get hit. So I recommend not doing that for pretty much all the enemies. Anytime you come across the 2 and 3-headed wolves or whatever they are, those guys, the ones that drop the orbs, just kick rapidly and they'll always go right into your rapid kicks and get killed. A big part of the strategy here with the 1 credit run is trying to get the transformation orbs as quickly as possible. So you don't want to miss any cycles where the wolves come out. You want to make sure you always get the blue, or the orbs from the blue wolf. And for this boss, all you really have to do is get in his body and just keep mashing your dash attack. Try to time it so that you do it when the heads are coming down, so you can hit the head and get inside of his body with the dash, and avoid taking too much damage. It is a little dangerous, but it works. But yeah, you're going to want to memorize the spawns of where the wolves come out, the blue wolves, because they come out in the same place every time. So that's going to be the key, because then you can transform quickly, and that ends the stage quickly and gets you to the end stage bosses. As soon as you transform, you'll into the animal of the stage, you'll instantly be transported to the boss when the lightning guy shows up, which is pretty early on in the stage. He'll keep showing up until you're ready to fight the boss. I think if you don't transform within 3 rounds of him showing up, you have to fight the boss as in the human form. So of course that'll be a lot harder. But there's really no reason to miss that many orbs and not get the transformations. You only need to get 3 orbs to transform into the wolf, or whatever animal it is for this stage. For this stage, it's the dragon. But you see, I fucked up here and got sloppy and got killed by these guys, which really wasn't necessary. But yeah, just make sure you get those orbs. You see, I'm already in dragon form, so that means that as soon as the lightning guy shows up, I'll be ready to fight the boss. All the bosses are super easy with positioning tricks, except for the 4th boss, which can be a little tricky. The 4th boss you'll actually have to fight normally, but everyone else you can pull bullshit on with the positioning. Very easy. And if you're doing what I show here, you'll also be able to end these stages very quickly by getting those orbs immediately and knowing right where the wolves spawn at. Just be aware of where they spawn. But yeah, for that boss, you just get right up on his eye. You position very close to the eyeball and just keep mashing the lightning, the area of effect lightning attack, where the lightning goes around the dragon's body. Just keep mashing that, and you'll kill that very fast. Now, the hardest mode, it's basically just faster and more aggressive, but otherwise it is similar to normal, but it's a lot faster and more aggressive. But it's really not that much harder, because the strategies you use on normal pretty much apply. For that first part with all those ants, stay all the way to the left. You saw I moved out and got hit at the very end. You don't have to do that. You can just stay all the way to the left and just kick them all, and then move once the screen starts scrolling. For this part, you see how I went up on that platform, then I jumped down and came back around to the right side and back up on the platform. That's what you want to do. You can avoid having to fight those guys, and you can get around them like you saw me do. You can also get all your transformation orbs while you're still up here, so stay up here and be ready for... just keep kicking, and eventually those wolves will run into your kicks, and as well as the ants, and you'll get all your transformation orbs. You'll have the bear form before you even drop back down in this area. Drop back down and fight. Now, of course, once you get these animal forms, they're extremely overpowered, so you should have no problem dealing with the enemies. You're going to use this Sonic the Hedgehog-like attack rapidly on the boss, and just keep jumping into the boss with this attack rapidly, as fast as you can, and you'll kill this boss very easily, and you should not take much damage, if any damage at all. It's extremely easy. Sometimes you'll see yourself getting knocked around, but that doesn't cause damage. It's just like the bosses will do that to get you off of them. Yeah, so next up is going to be the only challenging boss in the game. And it's really not that hard with a little practice. But when I was young, I had a lot of trouble, and I used to drain a lot of lives on this boss and die a lot. But this time when I played the game, I learned the game very, very quickly. So, it was a big difference from when I played it when I was younger, because I didn't have that kind of experience back then. So, it didn't take too long. But I will explain it. Now, you see my positioning as I got up here to get that orb and avoided those guys. That's important to do. Otherwise, they'll hit you after you transform, and you'll take extra damage. Or they'll hit you and you'll miss the orbs altogether, and the wolves will go past you. So you're just going to have to memorize. Use save and load states, if necessary, to practice learning where the spawns are and exactly how you're going to move to get all the orbs. Practice that in each level, how you're going to get all 3 orbs the quickest. You basically just want to make sure you don't miss any of the moments where the wolves come out, so you don't miss any of the orbs. You don't want to let any of the blue wolves escape. Basically, if you let one escape, then restart and practice some more, because it's a waste of time to let them get away. Because then you have to go through extra cycles and fight more enemies, and the stage will go on for longer. So you want to end the stage as quick as possible by getting that transformation as fast as possible. So that's really the main thing to keep in mind. That's really the main thing to learn. It's mainly learning the spawns and being ready for the enemies that it's always the same. The game never changes, so once you learn where everything's going to pop out at, you'll know what to expect. Now, this boss can be tricky. It takes a little practice. This is the only boss that takes practice. But just remember, when this boss goes all the way to the bottom of the screen and spits the fire cannot hit you as long as you duck down on the ground. So always be ready to duck down on the ground when he gets low. Aside from that, throw your fireballs out and always try to clear out the dragons with the up attack of the tiger. So, when those tigers get out, try to pick your timing. See, I was a little sloppy there and got hit, which was unnecessary. I could have waited a little longer to take out that dragon. I could have waited for the flames to pass and then take out the dragon. So just, try to get in a rhythm with it. I also, in another run, I beat it with only getting hit once. So I could have easily did it no damage if I wouldn't have been sloppy. But it wasn't hard. Just be patient. It takes a lot of hits. You can also get extra hits in by doing your up dash right near the dragon and getting in an extra damage with that. Like you saw I did there. But that's riskier, so you really don't have to do that. But if you want, you can do it. But either way, it's just easy. It's just a little tedious. It just takes long. But it's a very simple pattern. The arcade version was way fucking harder than this game. I mean, I must have wasted like 10 credits. My strategies weren't working at all from the Genesis version, so I'd have to practice that version completely separately and do things very differently. But it's cool that there's differences in the version, so that you would have to actually learn the game again. But the Genesis one was much, much easier. And that's on the hardest setting. I'm just talking about the arcade on default difficulty. So yeah, this is the hardest mode, which is accessed through the options menu with a little code. And this is also the second round of the hardest mode. So that's why I didn't have the full 5 lives that I set it to. I only had the default 3 lives because I lost a few lives on my previous playthrough on hardest. So I was on the second round of hardest. So this may even be harder than the hardest mode. It may be hardest mode round 2. But I don't know if it gets harder from that point. I couldn't really tell much of a difference. It was about the same as far as I could notice. But yeah, you want to do the same things here where you jump and rapidly kick and come down with the kicks on the enemies. If you try to stand there and kick them, you're probably going to get killed. So just keep that in mind. Always jump and come down with your kicks. Again, memorize where the blue wolves are going to spawn at and be ready to take them out by rapidly kicking and letting them jump into your kicks. You're going to want to memorize all that shit and get them very quickly because you see, you can end this stage very fast. You can turn into the wolf very quickly, and this is pretty much the end of the stage. Because once you have the wolf, there's no reason to die at that point. It's very easy with the wolf. You just keep dashing and taking the enemies out. And the stage will, then, you'll be at the final boss after this lightning guy goes away. Or transforms. And all you have to do for the final boss is duck down and keep throwing fireballs at him. And that's it. Just stay crouched and keep throwing fireballs. And that's it. So really, all the bosses you can bullshit with positioning tricks in the Genesis version. Very fucking easy. Except for the fourth boss. The fourth boss is the only boss you have to fight. And you can also end all the stages very, very fucking quickly by getting those orbs as soon as they appear. Just don't miss any. And you'll make this game very easy. You can beat it in about, maybe it was under 10 minutes or under 11 minutes. So let me know if that helps. And if you have any questions, let me know. And thanks for watching.